Hey, what's up everybody? Tim here. And before we get into today's video, I want to let you all know we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if this video hits 100 likes by the end of the week, we will continue this What If. Thirdly, if you didn't know, only 41.3% of you are subscribed to us. So please, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the story. Izuku screamed in pain. He was bleeding and tied to a chair. Blood dripped down his head. It made a dripping sound as it hit the floor. He breathed heavily, trying to catch his breath. He looked around and saw that there were several villains circling around him. He recognized a couple, Shigaraki, Kurogiri, and Muscular. The others, he couldn't recognize at all. They were unfamiliar to him, but they had some interesting characteristics. A blonde-haired girl with messy buns who also dressed in a schoolgirl outfit. A man with black hair and burnt skin that was seemingly sewed onto his body. A reptile-looking man with pink hair, and finally, some dude who looked like a hippie. Oh yeah, there was also some Deadpool knockoff here as well. "What do you want from me?" Izuku asked. Shigaraki smirked at Izuku's sorry state.
Well, isn't it obvious? Your symbiote, Venom. We weren't done with our experimentations on them. They managed to escape before we finished our project, and plans were halted up until now. All of the symbiotes we've managed up until now couldn't compare to the original. Now, we can continue our research into perfecting our artificial symbiotes.
Wait, what? What's all this mumbo-jumbo about symbiotes and experimenting? Izuku's eyes widened as he struggled to look towards his right. It was then he realized that Bakugo was tied up next to him as well.
Ah, you don't know. My, Midoriya. You've been keeping secrets from your own peers? That's quite unbecoming of a hero, isn't it? Well, don't worry, because when we're done with you, you won't be able to become a hero.
Shigaraki laughed in Izuku's face. Why? I get why you captured me, but why Bakugo? What would you want off of him?
He's powerful and skilled in his quirk. That attitude he had in the sports festival, he acted more fitting of a villain than a hero. Join us, Katsuki Bakugo. Join the League of Villains.
Bakugo was silent for a second. Izuku's heart started to race. He was wondering what Bakugo was going to say. Was he really considering it? Sure, Bakugo answered. Izuku's heart stopped as he heard what Bakugo just said. He couldn't believe it. No, he refused to believe it. There was no way Bakugo could have accepted their offer to become a villain. For all the years he'd known him, he'd always wanted to become a hero, and the Bakugo he knew would never accept this.
Smart kid. Release the blonde brat,
Shigaraki ordered. The blonde girl was the one to jump to it as she pulled out a knife from her sleeve. She cut the rope from Bakugo's chair, which effectively freed him. Bakugo gripped his hands a couple of times as he stood up, before he looked at her and blasted her in the face with an explosion. What? What? You losers honestly think I'd join your stupid villain club? Get a life! I'm gonna become the #1 hero and surpass All Might if it's the last thing I do! Bakugo yelled. As the other villains tried to get close to Bakugo, the boy ripped off the restraints from Midoriya. Come on, Deku! We're getting out of this stupid joint! Izuku nodded his head vigorously before he leapt out of his chair. The villains had surrounded the two boys, though. Izuku at first thought he would have to fight his way out with Bakugo and Venom, but something was up. Venom? It would be very nice to come out now! What's wrong, Deku? You can't use your weird quirk for some reason? I don't know what's wrong. Usually Venom would have enveloped me by now. Bakugo fended off the swarm of villains as they attacked the boys. He threw several explosive punches at some of the villains, such as the blonde girl and the reptilian man. But there were too many villains for him to fight off alone. Midoriya was trying to wake up Venom, but nothing seemed to be working, and it was frustrating to say the very least. Shigaraki laughed. What's so funny?
Isn't it obvious? You were unconscious for 3 days, 3 nights. We even engineered some chemicals that would keep you asleep. In those 3 days, you honestly thought we wouldn't have been able to obtain your symbiote partner. I just wanted to see you suffer. That's all.
This revelation caused Izuku to freeze. No, no, no! This couldn't be happening. He couldn't have lost Venom. They couldn't have taken him. There was no way! Venom was his partner, the one who helped him to become a hero in the first place. No, more so, Venom was the reason he could become a hero at all. Without Venom, he was useless, a pathetic weakling. He would only be known as Deku without him. Defenseless. Izuku. That was who he was right now without Venom. Give him back, Midoriya whispered. Shigaraki didn't hear the boy though. All his attention was focused on Bakugo as he was grabbed by the other villains. Bakugo screamed as he was subdued by them. They covered his mouth in order to silence him. Tears began to fall down Bakugo's cheeks. Before we get back into the story, let's hear a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by CalMax Customs, a brand new clothing line made for the wearer. CalMax Customs puts the customer first, offering a variety of clothing options ranging from casual to business casual. If you're looking for comfortable, easy-fitting clothing at low prices, check out CalMax Customs today. Izuku didn't know what to do. He couldn't do anything here. He looked down at his hands. Honestly, he had no idea of what he could do. He was completely useless. He was only able to make it this far because of Venom, not by his own strength. It was how he realized just how useless he was. Shigaraki laughed at what he saw. One boy who was completely lost after losing that symbiote of his, and the Bakugo brat. Oh, he especially laughed at what had happened to Bakugo. He thought he was so clever. He honestly thought he could escape with that bastard Midoriya, but once he revealed that Venom had already been stripped away from him, he seemed to lose any and all hope that he once had.
Ugh, what's so funny? Finally woke up after trying to bond with Toga, eh?
Yeah, never again. Can't bond with more than one living being at a time. Days passed as Izuku was continuously tortured by Shigaraki, while Venom was experimented on. There was no end to any of this. Dr. Ujiko even experimented on Shigaraki and Carnage a couple of times to speed up their progress. They knew the heroes would be coming sometime soon. They were on borrowed time here. They needed to get as much progress done before the heroes arrived. The heroes had probably gathered a huge group to make a full-on raid of their hideout. They were probably just in the middle of searching for their hideout now. Shigaraki clicked his tongue at the thought of it. He wanted to continue until he could make a proper clone of the symbiotes. He wanted to go even further beyond, actually. He wanted to create the ultimate symbiote. Originally, it was all about killing the symbol of peace, and also about the creation of an army of symbiotes under his control. The two goals went hand in hand. He wasn't strong enough originally, but ever since he bonded with Carnage, he began to view things differently. He saw that there was far more potential power in the symbiotes than he once thought. But what did he want now? Well, it was simple really. He wanted to produce the strongest symbiote known to man. He would have all the power and influence from there on. He would finally be able to run this hero society down to the ground. Absolute chaos would lay in his wake. Death everywhere. Absolute carnage. Oh, how he loved that dream. Back at UA, many of the students were worried for their classmates Midori and Bakugo. Not just that, but what was currently happening to their school. The public was severely against the school after the big incident at their summer training camp. The media was ruthless with UA's faculty, to the point that there were even stories that brought up suspending some of the hero licenses from the teachers, or even worse. Some news headlines brought up the topic about how bad the teachers had become at protecting their students in recent times, that they were considering removing their hero licenses altogether. Not just their hero licenses, but also their teaching licenses, as well, in order to make sure they would never teach again. Rumors were floating around the school and the general public about UA even being shut down. Uraraka tried to approach the teachers about this, but all of them kept their mouths shut. This aggravated her greatly. How could she stay relaxed in such a tense situation? She tried talking to her classmates about it, but so many of them acted unreasonable. So many were gloomy about the whole situation, but few even thought about taking charge. I don't know about you all, but I'm tired of sitting around waiting for heroes to save the day. We are heroes in training, and all the pros are ever telling us to do is stand back while they handle all the work. But it doesn't appear like they are doing much more than handling the media. Uraraka. If you're trying to tell me to calm down, then I suggest you save it, Two-Face. Todoroki, when he heard this and felt this out-of-character fiery aura from the rosy-cheeked girl, bit his tongue and squirmed back in his seat. And what do you suggest we do, Uraraka? I already put a tracking device on one of the Nomu back there, which gave the heroes a lead on the villain's whereabouts. Momo tried to explain. That's not enough, okay? Look, we are Class 1A, and we have had our trials and tribulations with the League of Villains. But now they have gone too far. They have kidnapped 2 of our classmates, and the heroes want us to wait for them to save the day. It's been a whole week already, and the teachers refuse to tell us any developments regarding the villain hideout raid. I know you all are tired of being kept in the dark, so you know what I suggest? I suggest we rescue them ourselves. Once the class heard those last couple of words from the Gravity Girl, there was an uproar of commotion regarding her statement. Uraraka is right, guys. I say we listen to her and go rescue our friends, Kirishima exclaimed. A couple of others agreed as well. Ida was reluctant at first, but he agreed to it. Only on one condition. If things went too far out of hand, he would personally drag any and all of his classmates out of the scene. Others like Tsuyu weren't so keen to Ochako's idea, though. She went so far as to state that they were basically acting like villains here by breaking the rules. Ochako apologized to Tsuyu for the fact the frog girl felt the way she did, but she wasn't going to let another moment be wasted with their friends in the hands of the League of Villains. She could only imagine the torture that the 2 boys must have been going through at the moment. Tsuyu refused to take any part in Ochako's plans and left the room. Uraraka refused to falter, though, as she discussed with the remaining classmates her plan to rescue Midoriya and Bakugo. She would need Ida, Momo, Todoroki, and Kirishima for the plan to work. The rest of the classmates would have to keep this plan of theirs secret from the teachers. She could wait no longer and sit idly by when she knew she could help. She was not some side character who would barely get any screen time in some shonen anime, and neither were any of her classmates. They were heroes, for crying out loud, and they were going to save their friends, even if it was the last thing they'd do. Well, that's the end of this video, folks. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now, before we go, I need to talk about a few things. On behalf of We the Celestials, I want to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editors for this video. Their details will be in the description below. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those departments. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you like this video. So thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out, and have a fantastic day.